Hey, what's up? This is JM, host of the Celebrity Grill podcast on iTunes, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds.
You could use it to fight off creeping marauders looking to take your steaks off your grills.
I just like being anywhere with Junior, Senior, and Diva.
Sounds like a whole other type of movie.
Wow. Yeah, really. Keep it hot, keep it clean, keep it lubricated.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, welcome to the second hour, folks. After Dark, welcome in. Thanks to George Hensler, author of Starting the Fire, for joining me last segment. Perhaps I should say the last two segments of our fine 9 o'clock portion of the show. Again, this is the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Networks. 877-448-0433 is the number to call. Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com is the email, and those are the two ways to get in touch with the show if you want to do it. Brian Nevel, founder and president of Huntingdon County Customs, coming up here in just a few minutes. We got something I want to get off my chest here. And it's the After Dark segment, so I can get loose a little bit. It's my show. I can get loose in the 9 o'clock hour, too, if I want. But look, the McRib sandwich is back at McDonald's. I can't remember anything that has generated more of a lightning rod effect on society than this return of this particular item. There are two distinct party lines here. Those who love the McRib, almost like a cult following, I would suppose. And then those of us who find the sandwich to be one of the most vile and disgusting things on the face of the earth. I happen to be in the latter group myself. But there is no denying the fact that this thing generates talk and elicits reaction like no other. I posted something about it on my Facebook page. It is by far the most commented on post I have ever made on Facebook. Look, here's the bottom line, folks. If there is a Mick anything in front of something you are about to jam in your face, then you should beware. If by some strange reasoning you have convinced yourself that this sandwich is the end-all, be-all of what barbecue was, is, and always should be, then you don't have a problem with me. You have a problem with yourself. This is not barbecue by any stretch. This sandwich was not cooked in a barbecue pit at low temperatures with wood smoke for flavor. No. There's a better chance that this is just hog guts, hooves, and snouts pressed together, cooked on a flat top where it was steamed to speed up the cooking process, then dressed ever so gently with sauce that, from what I understand, appears to be a 50-50 mix of fancy ketchup and a poor knockoff of the original flavor of open pit barbecue sauce. And to keep things traditional, sprinkled ever so lovingly with some raw onion slices, and yes, topped with that ever-traditional pickle. Sorry, it's not a good idea. It doesn't sound good, doesn't look good, can't do it. Rod Gray from Pellet Envy. Is there anything redeeming about this poor excuse for a barbecue sandwich?
Nothing.
Yet many of you people line up to buy not one, but multiple McRib Sammies at a time. You're already fearing the day, which can't come soon enough, in my opinion, when McDonald's decides to rip this piece of crap back off the menu, putting their customers into a deep, dark barbecue depression. This has to be the fast food version of meth, right? Faux pork meth brought to you by your friendly neighborhood McMeth dealer. Oops. I mean McDonald's restaurant. My final plea to those of you who find comfort joy and utter food bliss when eating this poor excuse for a rib sandwich. And I'll gladly retract this whole take if you can produce just one single rib bone that this sandwich was made from. But I know you can't. I know McDonald's can't either because it's not real rib meat. It's not coming off a loin back or a spare rib. It's not. You're fooling yourself. Your family and friends are suffering for it. Just because a poop sandwich is only offered once or twice a year doesn't mean that you should rush out and jam all of that poop in your face at breakneck speeds. It's poop, for crying out loud. Look, the first step to recovery is admitting that you have a problem. I want to help you. I want you to stop hurting yourself and the people who love you. There's so much good in the world. Quite frankly, those people who love you, are sick and tired of seeing you do this to yourself. You're a danger to yourself and others. We want to help you starting right now. That's why I have set up a toll-free counseling line staffed with certified fake barbecue recovery experts that will get you headed in the right direction. And one day, you'll be able to look back on this very single day, this hour, this momentous occasion, and see where your life changed and changed for the better. Quickly dial this phone number, 800-I-EAT-CRAP and like it, and someone will be there on the other line to help you on your road to recovery. But you have to take that first step. Pick up the phone right now. Do it. Dial 1-800-I-EAT-CRAP and like it. And I think we'll all sleep a bit better tonight. Now, what? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the mixed ribs sandwich. You got to be kidding me. It is a lightning rod, whether you want to agree or not. And I am getting lots of reaction back. Vile, gross, revolting. Oh, my God, there's 2 pickles. I mean, what's the difference? 2 pickles, 10 pickles, what's the difference? People travel to Germany just to eat it. Oh, my goodness, and you should see what is in this thing. It's just, as many people have chimed in via the instant messenger, it's a vile product, and I just needed to get that off my chest. Remember, it's 1-800-I-EAT-CRAP and like it, and we will help you on your road to recovery, my friends. All right, let's go ahead and race over to the hotline and dial up founder and president of Huntingdon County Customs, Brian Nevel, joining us here on the show. Brian, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, Brian, and thanks for asking. Brian, before we get into the company, would you like to weigh in with your take on the McRib sandwich?
Yeah, I was actually hoping that you would say something because, I mentioned on your Facebook page that I didn't want to talk about it, but I did spend 6 years in the military, combined between Air Force and Army, 1 year in Iraq eating MREs for the bulk of that time, and I would still take a pack of Skittles out of an MRE pack over a McRib sandwich. So
there you go. Hey, Brian, is there a number I could call you on or whatever? I'm getting a substantial amount of feedback on you for some reason.
Let me call you right back. I think I did something wrong with answering this one.
All right, go ahead. Dial me right back, buddy.
Okay.
All right, it will be Brian Nevel, founder and president of Huntingdon County Customs. DivaQ weighing in. I'm so thoroughly disgusted by it. Blech, vile, gross. That's about all I can say for that as well. All right, Brian, you there?
Yes, technical difficulties.
There we go. Now you're sounding loud and proud, as we used to say in CB talk. All right, so you are president and founder of Huntingdon County Customs, but before we get into the whole business, what you're offering, and getting into the product line, how about a little background about yourself, personally, professionally, and we'll dive in from there.
Really? I guess I'm jack of all trades, master of none.
Good. You joined my club.
Yeah, well, I've done everything from heating and air conditioning, working on C-130 jet engines in the Air Force. I did a little bit of management of some chain restaurant, kind of like back of house stuff, even a movie theater. And then went Army, did satellite communications, went to college for a little bit for IT and business, and then started my business.
So how did you decide to come up with Huntingdon County Customs?
Really, it was a freshman level class at the college that I was going to, Juniata College. And it was kind of a hypothetical sort of business. And I had designed a hitch cover, which you can see I think it's in my Facebook page for the company. But at any rate, I designed a hitch cover for my wife's vehicle, had someone else make it. And people were coming up to me saying, that's pretty cool. Go ahead and make me one. And I'm like, I don't have the tools or anything to do that. And just kind of build off of that and spent about a year and a half refining my business. And everyone was saying, go for it.
Brian Nevel joining us here on the show. Did you have in the plan initially to evolve into the segment of grilling and barbecue, or did you initially start out just as like aftermarket parts for cars and boats and all that trailer type stuff?
Well, anyone here listening to your show right now already knows, anyone that knows me and have met me at some of these competitions and things, my wife usually accompanies me. She'll be the first one to say, she came up with the idea to do a grate. Before we made anything, before I even had my machine up and running, she said, hey, my dad's birthday is coming up, Father's Day or whatever it was coming up, said, go ahead and make my dad a grill grate, after she saw how the entry, the DVD that came with our machine to show us how to set it up and stuff. So, I took that advice and made a grill grate and, just kind of refined on that idea and built up materials and just, kept building on that idea. And now I do, do branding irons and mostly grill grates, but I also do, custom pits. So it wasn't really the initial idea. I was only supposed to be doing kind of metal art and hitch covers, but really I do 90% barbecue. I'd say 99%. I don't like doing the other stuff. I just have it there for helping the search links.
There you go. Brian Nevel joining us, and the website is huntingdoncountycustoms.com, and it's spelled like I had said earlier in the show, Huntingdon, Huntingdon. County Customs. Is Huntington like the county that you live in Pennsylvania?
Yes. Yeah. It's actually the county and the city.
Wow. All in one.
Yes. Yeah. We're easy to find. Yeah. We're right over the mountain from Penn State main campus and State College. Also Altoona, if anyone's ever heard of that. But it is kind of funny living in Pennsylvania. You have to say that you're near State College. You can't just say a city name like, everyone else in every other state. Kind of has some city there nearby.
Yeah, like me in Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland.
That's right.
Cleveland rocks.
Now, well, that's debatable, but nevertheless, when your wife said, "Hey, make my dad a grill grate," did you have well, maybe let's back that up even a little bit further. You made mention that you bought a machine. What kind of machine did you buy? And I would imagine this was for initially like the trailer hitch covers and this
right.
metal
It's actually a CNC plasma machine, and it was just kind of a beefed up version of the hobby shop ones you see in the magazines. And I went in with full idea to be large production. On a small machine, so I wanted to go, above and beyond. My machine has capabilities of, 20 feet long, 4 feet wide, inch and a half thick, and so it gives me a lot of room to grow. But I wanted to be able to run that at, run it at minimum capability and get, peak performance out of it. So it really gives me a level of definition and performance out of it for these grill grates that I'm able to attain. I know your grate that we did had a lot of design in it, and people see that and they say, what kind of laser are you using? Well, it's plasma. So
yeah, and I have to say, and I tried to post a number of pictures here, especially over the last couple of weeks, and of course when I got it initially, this went from, and we'll get more into the process here a little bit farther into the conversation, but this went from a logo that I actually have for the radio show and translated actually onto something that I'm using for my 22.5-inch Weber Kettle charcoal grill. When or did you have to do some research on what material you needed to use for a grill grate? Was there a lot of due diligence on your part to make sure that you were going to use the right material in order to get that longevity and life cycle out of it?
Well, yes. Actually, I've always been grilling and smoking. Actually, any of the listeners here also that has a Barbecue Brethren forum site knows me. I'm smoking turkey on there, and that kind of comes from the last, 13 odd years or more of just only doing smoked turkeys. Before that, it was gas grills and a couple charcoal grills because I really didn't like the hassle of cleaning up charcoals because I always had the cheap hibachi. I never had a Weber until about 2 years ago. Yeah, people are going to hate that one. I'm going to get some flaming on that one. But no, I started out with 1/8-inch steel and 11 gauge, just under 1/8 inch, and just started experimenting with it. I sold them to some customers, and I took back their feedback. Actually gave them some upgrades to it, and kind of worked with them, used them as my experimental people, and they were saying about how much they loved it, and it had mass, but when I was cooking on it, I after working in restaurants, I don't want to say the chain restaurants, but most of them are in malls and shopping plazas. But I worked as a line cook and grill and stuff. So I mean, I knew what a real professional cooking grill should be, and 1/8 inch just wasn't cutting it. Now I do still sell the standard grates because they are so well connected online, but I sell them now as only recommended for light duty gas grills. I really push the Pro Series line because it is a 3/16 and heavier heavier material, and that's what your Pro Series grade is on your Weber. And I don't know how how well. Well, I mean, after talking to you, I do know how well you like it, but I'll let you talk about that.
Now, I guess you're at 3/16. Is there any reason to go thicker than that, or is 3/16 pretty much where you would like to be at and not have to go any thicker, or is going thicker not going to give you any benefit out of the added cost?
Well, I mean, I have done thicker, and it depends on what your end product. Where are we putting it in? I actually just drove to Chicago about 2 months ago. Restaurant opened there, and they wanted to run on wood, and they were using gas pre-starters, and we were talking about what they're going to be cooking all day long. They're going to be cooking 365 days a year, and it needed to hold up. So we went with 1/2-inch steel bottom grates for them to burn on, and 3/8 top grates. So I mean, I do have flexibility. Like I said, I can cut up to 1.5 inches thick, but for the average consumer, even the competition grillers, 3/16 really works nice because I mean it's not that far off of a 1/4 inch. 4/16 is actually a 1/4 inch, so it's 1/16 of an inch off of 1/4 inch, and the cost savings in material and accessibility for me from my suppliers, it just made sense. Now I can, like I said, somebody wants a custom job, they're dead set on it. We can quote on anything, and I'm all for saving the customer money. I'm not into pumping up a number to make it. If I was into making money, I guess I'd probably be driving a little nicer truck or living in a nicer house or something. But I'm in it for the hobby as much as I am for I love what I'm doing.
Now, and we're talking with Brian Nevel. He's the president of Huntingdon County Customs, and the website huntingdoncountycustoms.com if you want to check out his products that he has to offer, and they're just striking is really one of the only words that I can use to do it justice. But
thanks.
Brian, when we went through the process, and I've had mine for a number of months now, you were like, send me something that you want, and I can cut it in there, and I didn't really know what that meant or how intricate I could get. And then I logged onto the website, and then I saw some of the ones from the previous customers that you had had, like Clint Cantwell from Smoking the Eye and the Barbecue Pit Boys. And needless to say, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. So I I got in touch with my logo guy and made sure that everything was, quote unquote legal for you to go ahead and cut in. And then after some collaboration, you shot over a mock-up or a what's the better word I'm looking? Yeah, like a design proof, and said, what do you think? And it was like pretty much exactly what my logo was. Obviously, we're withholding the color for obvious reasons, but as far as image is concerned, it was like the exact thing on that proof. I said, yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. Made a few text changes here and there, and then when we got it, or when I got it from the UPS guy, it was my logo without any type of, I mean, it was unbelievable that you were able to do this.
And that's one thing that people really don't, there's a level of design that has to go into this. Everything has to be basically cut in stencil or in line art. So I have to, I have to convert. I have to basically redraw everything in that design. to make it, because if I cut everything out, it would be one jumbled puzzle piece that I'd have to basically weld back together. This is all cut from one solid sheet of steel. Anyone that's on there also, if you have Facebook, and you can check it out while we're talking here. We have an extensive line of photos. Any customers that buy from us also, we encourage them send pictures back of their grate in action. But I have videos from Barbecue Pit Boys, which I also sponsor. Some of my teams and stuff we're working on. We're working with 3 Eyes now. Hopefully, we'll get some things out to them soon, and get some pictures back from them. But a lot of people like what we're doing, and they're just. It's humbling. I mean, it really is, because like I said, I'm new into this, barbecue market, and it's really cool to, get to meet all of these great people. Dan and Chris at 3 Eyes, and Julie and Skip at Swamp Pit, and Sal at Smoke and Gnome, and Clint and Diva Q. I mean, there's just so many friends and people that I've met out on the circuit, and to hear them, I mean, they've been in this for years, and they're world-class chefs and comp people, and they just, they love what I'm doing. And it's, I don't know, it's exciting. It makes it exciting to come to work every day.
Brian Nevel is my guest. Brian, are you ahead of where you thought you would be when you started this, or are you totally like in a left field area where you didn't even think you were going to get into this portion?
Well, I mean, I guess part of what I'm learning as being an entrepreneur is you got to be flexible. You can't go into it saying, I'm only going to make hitch covers, and then I'm only going to make a deer silhouette on someone's wall. And, you got to go where people want you to go. And it just so happens that, barbecue is my hobby. I mean, I don't know if you've tried the recipe yet. I think I sent it over to you, the pickles. I mean, that's my, that was my invention, I came up with for the recipe. But, I love coming up with this stuff. It's actually gotten to the point where I actually have to seek counseling for people call me up, and family and stuff. How are you doing? Well, business is great, but I got to talk about something other than business, because barbecue is just taken over. It's become an addiction. I think I told you I started bowling tonight, so that's how bad it is.
It's bad when you have to go to bowling to get away, right?
Yeah, and as I told you, I'm not very good at that either, so.
Well, with practice comes great things, especially when it comes to bowling, or at least I understand that from my friends that bowl. So I'm sure your 89 will soon be 189 without blinking.
Hey, we weren't supposed to be talking scores on here.
Well, I was just throwing out numbers. I'm not saying that's what you had. Brian Nevel is my guest here on the show. If you have a question for Brian, it's 877-448-0433. You can also email Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. So, Brian, let's go ahead and be a little bit redundant, but at least everybody has all of the information and how this exactly works. If I go to the website and I want to order through there, take us through the process of how it works, what you need, and what kind of a turnaround time and price point we're looking at.
Okay, well, most of my customers come to my website with a grill that they either need a replacement for, they bought a grill and they want to personalize it for a gift, something along those lines. So they have something in mind as far as the shape and size. So what you need to do is you need a length and a width if it's a rectangle. If it's a round, something like a Big Green Egg, a Weber, or some kind of, something that's not readily available, you can always just measure the diameter, which I added on the Pro Series line to just add, check mark basically a box. But you can go to the barbecue product section on the left-hand side of my store page and follow it through the pictures. There's a lot of information on there. You can read it at your leisure, but as you go through, we have, like I said, we have the standard grates. We have the Pro Series round and Pro Series rectangular, and they're all based off of square inches. So, which I've even included a calculator on there, so you can do your own custom quotes. You can, check box. I've got a rectangle. Here's my length and my width, and it'll spit out a, your area, total area. And you place that into 4 categories on the any of the rectangular ones. The circle ones, I think we're up to 6 now. And then we have an unlimited, basically. If it doesn't fit into any one of those, Big Green Egg, 22.5 Weber, 18 Weber, Smoky Joe, something like that, then you can customize that. You can add handles. If you have a special design, we can put that on also for a fee. And font-based, I've always wanted to include font-based into the pricing. So, I mean, a lot of people still come to me and say, I just want a grate. I don't want it to say anything. I just want a plain grate. And I'm like, I talk to them a little bit, and the more they start looking at my website, they're like, oh, well, can you put my family name on it? Well, yeah, that's included. So any font, I've got thousands and thousands of fonts available, a lot of free fonts out there on the web, which I use. I design my own fonts, but that makes it fun for me. I mean, really, it does. Like I said, I can't wait to wake up in the morning. Sometimes I even keep a sketch pad next to the bed and roll over, wake up, draw something, and go back to sleep. That's the only way I can really, do it. So, but options are on there. Griddle space, which is basically full steel, grates, grate lines. There's your design and handles. We even weld on. I bend and weld handles, so that can go on. And I guess I'm kind of rambling on this, but if you have, let's say you got a char griller and you got a 3-plate char griller, you would buy how many square inches the total is. So I can break that up into 2 grates, 10 grates, or 1 grate. However works best for your application.
Now,
I'm sorry. I guess I kind of skipped over the part. Once you place the order, generally within 10 days, 2 weeks, I try to get the design back. In the busy times or whenever there's competitions going on, I also organize a state championship here in Pennsylvania. When those kind of things are going on, sometimes it stretches out a little bit further. I am my own designer and fabricator and mailer, shipper, and just everybody. But I get a design out to you. You approve that through an email, and then we go ahead and make it. I say we because it makes me sound bigger, and because I have somebody that works with me over the summer. My wife's also a co-owner for the business. But and that's about it. Turnaround time, I try to keep it within 2 to 4 weeks. There are a few special occasions where things take a little longer. If we're into a full pit, if we're into multiple, really intricate design. And that takes a little bit longer, but usually my customers are very understanding of that. That you go on Harriet Carter magazine and you order a custom, and I say custom, you want a name on a mug. They're thermal transferring that thing right onto the mug. The mug's already made. It still takes 4 to 6 weeks. I'm actually designing and cutting a one-of-a-kind barbecue grate from scratch, and I'm turning it around faster than they are. So keep that in mind whenever you, when we work together.
All right, now Pro Series grates, just kind of a ballpark idea because, and also you do offer that like half grill grate and half griddle on your grate options as well.
Yes, and that came about actually as an idea from Skip at Swamp Pit Barbecue. He wanted, a space. He does his famous Skippy burgers. I'm sure some of your listeners have had or heard of these, and if not, definitely catch them while they're out. Swamp Pit Barbecue, I believe, has a Facebook group. You can talk to them on there. Julie and Skip, they're great people. They're my first team that I ever sponsored. They're out of Long Island, New York. But he makes some of the best burgers I've ever had, and part of his secret is he uses my griddle side and does his burger on that. Also does some onions and toasts his buns right on it. It makes it kind of like the best of having like a cast iron skillet. Also having the grill space to do that.
Yeah, it sounds
burgers and stuff.
Sounds wonderful, and it's great to have that option. And I've seen the pit barbecue pit boys have that on some of their videos as well. Now, what's the general ballpark or starting price for the Pro Series grates?
I believe they start. I'm not. You caught me. Everyone's asleep upstairs, and I didn't. My computer's giving me fits up there. I believe I wanted to check prices, but I could be wrong. The price series, pricing point, I believe, starts at $39 and goes up from there. My most common one is the 22.5-inch Weber, just popularity, like you said. Most common made grill. It is 105 or 109 now, I believe. Also, I don't know if you spoke about it. I got a little late. Like I said, I was bowling. We have a special running. Actually, I'm running it tonight. I'll probably extend that a couple more days just to give your listeners a chance to actually look at everything. It's a lot to take in. So I believe it's 15%. Coupon code is Barbecue Central.
Right.
And you can check that out. You get 15% off your order.
All right. So
and if you join our Facebook fan page. I'm going to try to work it into at least once a week, giving away a $10 gift card to the business or, to the website.
Yeah, that sounds great, and a way to get out there, and hopefully we can solicit some more, at least interest, and possibly turn that into some grill grates for you. Now, as far as once you get the grill grate, how do you want to go about initially caring for it? And then, of course, after you cook on it, is there anything that a customer needs to do specifically to keep it in tip-top working order and shape?
Really, I found that they take abuse. They really do. I have my 22 and a half. I've been cooking on it, well over a year and a half now. Um, and what you're going to want to do whenever you first get it, it's going to be raw steel. Probably best to wipe it down with a good, soapy wet rag. Make sure any, shipping dust, anything from manufacturing, any oils we still left on it, gets off of there. And then place it on your grill. Get it nice and hot with some charcoal or whatever you're burning in there. Get it up to temperature about 350 degrees. Throw some water on there. If it sizzles around, jumps around, it's perfect. Spray it down with some Pam. Cook something greasy on there. Rub it down with vegetable oil. Just use your choice of oil. I used to say vegetable oil or olive oil, but some people have turned me on to peanut oil. Some people have allergies, so your oil of choice, and then just keep it oiled and just treat it like cast iron. Except not so much with kid gloves. You don't you can take that thing off. I've burned my hands plenty of times grabbing those handles. Dropped it on my patio, and there's no worries of anything of cracking it or bending it, warping it. If it warps, it goes right back to temperature. You threw some lump on there and piled it up in the middle and forgot about it. Come out and your grate's warped up a half inch in the middle. Don't worry about it. When it cools down, it goes right back to its original shape. And when yours has a lot of detail like mine. Mine has my logo across the middle. I actually take my weed burner like once a year and just fire that thing up till it's glowing red and burn everything off and brush it out and start over.
Yeah, so easy enough to care for it. And again, we're talking with Brian Nevel. He is the founder and president of Huntingdon County Customs. HuntingdonCountyCustoms.com is the website if you want to go check that out. And as you just mentioned, offering 15% off right now if you enter the promo code BBQ Central as you check out. Brian, anything else as far as different product lines that might be segmented into this particular industry that you're either working on or that you're going to be looking to introduce here over the next couple months?
Well, at our barbecue competition, we found that, just some simple things like, custom fire pits that are easily mobile. They might be something more on the local market just because of their size. But, simple things like that. But all the way up to I am building custom pits. On my Facebook fan page, you can see a Penn State gas grill that I just finished up for a very avid tailgater. I've done, some reverse flows for a couple customers. Everything from the world's smallest, which I have a world record on right now, to basically a mini Lang. And so I have that as video on the website for that. Everything all the way up there to right now, the largest I've built is my catering pit, catering and competition pit, which kind of learning the ins and outs of. But always looking for that next challenge. Everything is one of a kind, customized to how you want it.
Now, is there a phone number that people could call you if they don't want to get on the website and do email communications? Do you have a business phone that you will answer and take questions?
Yes, I do. And actually, I actually have a live chat that I'm working the bugs out of. It's been down for about a month right now. We're about to pull it back up again. It's available from my website also. But my phone number is across the top and bottom of every page of my website. It's 814-506-1328. It's again 814-506-1328. And I generally answer that between 8 and 5 o'clock Eastern time. And, like I said, I'm the only person here. So if I don't answer, I'm either, away from the desk, I'm in the shop, can't hear it because of the machines running. But, leave a message or, drop me a email from my contact list or contact us on the website. hit me up on Facebook, Twitter. I mean, I'm connected. So
there you go. Brian Nevel is the founder and president of Huntingdon County Customs, and truly a product that can really enhance and personalize, whether it be your barbecue pit grates or your actual grilling grates for gas grills and charcoal grills. And I can attest from having one myself. It is really unique, and it certainly is a conversation piece, especially when you cook on it and people are seeing exactly what it's doing, and it's performing very well. So I appreciate
your grill, right?
Oh, absolutely. So pimp the grill.
How does your dad like it? I didn't get to any of those pictures yet.
This is great because I'm glad you asked me, because I forgot a question, because I did purchase one for my dad. He got a text cut into it, which is his nickname, Air Boss, which I still don't understand why that's his nickname, but nevertheless,
it's so cool how it came out. It looks real World War II looking, just really awesome.
Oh yeah, it looks great. And he had mentioned to me maybe a week or two ago. Is there, or have you heard from other people that once they install the new grate and they take whatever the OEM, I think he might have had porcelain-coated cast iron in there previously.
Right.
Has anybody said that the grill actually gets hotter with your grates in it because it might be sucking heat up and radiating it out more?
I do know that people with the wired grates, basically like the where they triple nickel coated that they come with in the Webers.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that my grate actually holds heat better than those, because there is a lot more mass there. I actually use my grate in the wintertime. Before I built this pit, I was using only my Weber kettles for the last 2 winters to cook in, and we had I think it was like -3 last year. I was doing a pork butt, and I didn't even have to use a blanket over my Weber to maintain temperature.
Yeah, so he definitely loves it, and again, for everybody that has one, the unanimous reaction that I get is not only does it actually perform and it cooks great, which is obviously very key because you're taking something out that obviously works and replacing with it. So if you're replacing something that works, you want to make sure that it works just as good or better, which these obviously do. The maintenance is obviously easy enough, and we all know, especially for the peripheral barbecue and grillers, they're not really into the whole healthcare management of their cooking systems. So, as less stress and less effort as possible, the better. So that certainly works into there as well. But again, the personalization is something that I certainly appreciate, and I know that everybody else says it's quite a conversation. It's something you can just go out in the backyard if somebody comes over. Even if you're not cooking anything, you can just open up your lid and say, "Hey, look at that," and you're off and running on. How
it's
cool
pride
is that?
in your equipment. It really is.
Yeah, it adds a whole new level of pride of ownership. So, Brian, again, I appreciate the thing that you're doing out there and adding this whole new dynamic, and hopefully, especially during the holiday season, we can shoot some orders over your way. And again, the website, Huntingdon County Customs. It's Brian Nevel. Thanks for coming on tonight, buddy.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks a lot.
Take care. There he is. Truly a unique product. I don't know anybody else that is doing custom grill grates like that. There might be some people out there that are doing it on the cheap, but again, 3/16-inch steel, very easy to season and very easy to maintain after that. My biggest fear of like cast iron grates, of course, as I've been always preaching about, is the fact that you have to be on top. You have to be on top. You have to be on top with your preventative maintenance of rust on cast iron, because once it gets onto your grill grate, that being the rust, and it grows like a weed. It is a serious bitch to get off. So it's nice to have something that performs probably just as good as a raw cast iron, but the rusting headache isn't nearly as prevalent as raw cast iron is. And with anything, I mean, it's me. I'm perhaps even over anal. Can you be over anal? With all of my grill grates and stuff, every time I use my Huntingdon County Custom grill grate, as the temperature creeps back down, I do take the can of Pam out and I blast it really good just to kind of bake a new layer of protection into it. But I probably don't have to do it like that every time. But that's just me. Basically, what I'm saying is you should do it too, because then you don't have to worry about anything. Anyway, there you go. That's Brian Nevel. HuntingtonCountyCustoms.com. Don't forget 15% off by using the promo code BBQ Central. Hook up. Savings. I'm no mathematician, but just on the general math figuring, If it's $100 and you're saving 15%, that's saving $15. I think that's you're saving $758. Of course, I'm just kidding. It's like $15, so it's $85 that you're reduced to. And it's heavy, man. Talk about fighting off creeping marauders. A heat disc of spherical wonderment. HuntingdonCountyCustoms.com, 15% off for the next couple days. Look for me on Facebook. Look for me on Twitter. I will keep you up to date with that special promotion, HuntingdonCountyCustoms.com. Thanks to Brian Nevel. Thanks to George Hensler joining me in the first hour, StartingTheFire.com. Order that book up too. Order a grill grate and a book. It'll be a happy, Merry Christmas, holiday, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa season for everybody. We'll be back next Wednesday. We're drawing near to the Wednesday show. Is going to be going back to Tuesdays sooner than later, at least by the first of the year. And until we meet again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.